Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel Skinny on Carbs. My name is Andrea, and on this channel I try to use my background in biology, histopathology, and naturopathic medicine to help you live the life that you dream of and deserve. Okay, so in this video I'm just gonna get right to it. I'm gonna give you guys the biggest secret to losing weight effortlessly, and it's going to be to stop eating at nights. Okay, that's my biggest secret there. I got it out of the way, so if you don't want to watch the rest of the video, you don't have to. Okay, however, let me explain a little bit why, for the people that need to understand this and want to really get this, sink it into their subconscious and really do this. Okay, now no matter which macronutrient you're focusing on, okay, and so macronutrients are going to be your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. So no matter which one of those you are subscribing to, on this channel we subscribe to carbs, and not just carbs, but we subscribe to the simple carbs. All right, so no matter which one of those you're subscribing to, you need to understand what fat loss is, okay? And the internet has gotten people very confused as to what fat loss is, and people have this idea that they need to be, and I'm gonna get to it, it's gonna all tie together in the end as to why you need to stop eating at night. Don't worry. But people have this idea based on the internet gurus that fat loss is something that you have to adapt to, okay? And they say, oh, you have to become a fat burner. That is absolute hogwash nonsense, all right? You are already metabolically flexible. It is your birthright. You were born with the ability to metabolize fats, convert your proteins into sugars, and to obviously to metabolize your sugars. Now in some individuals, they have an issue, people who have refractive seizures and epilepsy, they have issues metabolizing sugars in the brain, and that is why that therapeutic ketogenic diet was developed. It was really for them, right? But people, the internet, what are we gonna do, huh? All right, so you have people that are believing that you need to become a fat burner when I'm telling you, you're born with the ability to do this. You can source, that's why they're called macronutrients, because they're calorie providers. Any one of those can be adjusted and used as a substrate for your ATP. All right, now if you want to learn what's optimal and why it's optimal, I discussed that in my Patreon. You can find me Skinny on Carbs in my Patreon group. You can join the group, it's just $12.99. We talk about all that, okay? However, you can use any one of the macros to burn for fuel. That's why they're a macro, okay? They're calorie giving. You don't need to become adapted to burn any one of those. That is just nonsense. All right. So in my other video, my previous video, when I talk about what is fat loss, what is it actually? Okay, I discuss how fat loss isn't some adaptation that you need to make. It is simply understanding when it's optimal to burn fat. And the most optimal time that your body has to burn fat, because of the type of fuel that it is and how it burns, is at rest. Okay, it's not when you chug a bunch of fat into the body. That's not what turns you into a fat burner. But you have to understand mitochondria and why, how the different fuels burn, in order to understand why it's optimal and more efficient for the body to burn fat at rest. In any event, we're going to tie this in. This is why I'm saying that you guys need to stop eating at night, okay? Because most of your fat loss happens at night. You lose most of your weight at nighttime. That's when you lose most of your weight. That's when you're oxidizing your fats optimally, or that's when you're supposed to oxidize your fats optimally. However, if you are eating your foods, I don't care what type of what type of macronutrient it is. I say carbohydrates because that's my bias, right? I don't care what type of fuel that it is that you're choosing. If you are pushing it too close to your bedtime, you are not maximizing your fat loss potential, okay? Which is when you sleep. you're not maximizing that fat oxidative potential at rest. Your heart specifically will burn it. That is the organ that likes to burn fat. None of the other organs. Your heart, yes, it loves to burn fat, but it will do it at rest. It will not do it when you are moving, when it's beating fast. For that type of energy, it needs fast energy, and fast energy means sugar. It does not mean fat, okay? That is just the honest truth, whether you like it or not. Glucose is the preferred fuel. It burns faster than fat does. So fat is preferred at rest. When you don't need that quick energy, you're not going to go for fats. Okay, so if you are digesting your foods, if you're doing other things, if you are calling on your body to invest nervous system energy into digestion and breakdown, absorption, and assimilation, you are not going to be maximizing your fat oxidative potential. So you have to stop eating so much at nighttime. You've got to stop. I talk about this again on my Patreon. I talk about timed eating. I talked about nutrient timing. It is important. It all comes together. All right. So what I am not talking about, let's be clear, I am not talking about intermittent fasting. That is a no-no. We don't do that when we're trying to lose weight. The same community that got you to believe that you need to turn your fat burning potential on because it's off, and that you need to become adapted to burning fat, that community also confused you into thinking that the only way to lose weight is to fast, right? But they are not talking about, well, they do it, but what became popular, what came out of this community as well, is the intermittent fasting, okay, which is fake fasting. I'm sorry, it is not fasting. It is caloric restriction. And so you think that your diet, your suboptimal diet works, right? So you think that your high protein, high fat diet works because you are enforcing a caloric restriction. Now, I'm not against calorically restricting. I'm just saying that there is no magic in the fat. There is no magic in the protein. You are simply, because when you are engaged in these types of diets, what also comes with it is the intermittent fasting, which again is fake fasting. It is not fasting. All right. It is caloric restriction. So what you're doing is you are most likely, what is most prevalent in the intermittent fasting community is to skip breakfast, all right, because it's the easiest meal to skip. Why is it the easiest meal to skip? Because you still have cortisol. You can rely on that cortisol spike. That's natural. It's physiologically natural, right? You're supposed to have a rise in cortisol in order to get up and to start your day and to go look for food or to do whatever it is that you do. So you get up, you have that cortisol, and you still have that cortisol to rely on, and so you just don't eat. I'm not hungry, I won't eat. Okay, that's all well and good, but you are supposed to use up that cortisol and then suppress further cortisol spikes by eating some carbohydrates, okay, by taking in some fuel. When you don't do that, you have a secondary spike, okay, and so this spike takes you even longer, and you feel, oh my God, I can carry my fast, right? You're just carrying your hunger. It's okay, fine, whatever. So you carry your fast up until midday, and you skip a meal, okay? And by skipping the meal, you have calorically restricted, because it is not likely that you're going to be able to fit all the calories that you need into 1 or 2 meals per day. And so now you're losing weight, and you say, oh my goodness, it's because I've been eating all this fat. It's because I've been upping my protein. Oh my goodness. When really what you're just engaging in is good old fashioned calories in, calories out, which works. I know people hate it, but it works, okay? So you lose all this weight and you think fasting is great, and 1 meal a day is great, intermittent fasting is great, but eventually that pony, it stops, okay? Eventually the pony stops, and it stops faster for women than it does for men. Why is that the case? Because women, your hormones change dramatically, not like men. Men age linearly. in a nice straight line, okay? Women, we don't age like that. We go like this, oh my God, like this. That's how women age, because we have a very sharp drop off in our hormones. And when those hormones drop off, then you start to see the havoc that you wreaked on your endocrine system and on your endocrine glands from calorically restricting all that time and from clogging up your mitochondria with all that fat that everyone told you you needed in order to produce your hormones, when every cell in the body creates cholesterol. So let me be clear, I am not talking about intermittent fasting. I am not talking about caloric restriction. I'm not talking about any of those. What I am talking about is nutrient timing, okay? I am talking about chronobiological eating that actually works with your circadian rhythms to maximize your fat oxidation potential. That's what I'm talking about. So what am I saying? You eat all day. You eat when the sun is up. You quit eating. You cut it off. You turn it off. You switch it off. You stop eating at night when the sun goes down, whatever time that is for you in your time zone. Quit eating at night. Stop it. Cut it out. Okay? When you wake up, you hydrate, then you eat. Make sure you're carbing up during the day. Make sure you're getting in the calories that you need, or what I like to call you're meeting your energetic needs. Make sure you meet that during the day. You carb up during the day and you meet your energetic needs throughout the day, because you want to keep your glycogen stores up. We're not about depleting glycogen stores. We're not in that camp where we're trying to use fasting for weight loss, because you do not need to use fasting for weight loss when you work with your circadian rhythms. We are out here living lives. We don't have 3, 4, 5, or 7 days to lay around resting when we fast, okay? Because fasting, you need to rest. That's what comes with fasting. That's what proper fasting entails. It entails resting. Again, I know the internet will have you to believe, oh, I fasted for 3 days, I fasted for 4 days, 5 days, and I had tons of energy. Whatever. Proper fasting, the way I have learned it, the way I know it, the way the elders teach it, you need to rest, okay? So in modern society, we don't have that kind of time, and you don't need it if you want to lose weight. You can get to a proper weight and maintain it without fasting, okay? You don't need to fast. I'm not against fasting, but I don't like fake fasting, which is what a lot of these internet gurus are promoting. Fasting for 2, 3 or more days, that's also turning into some sort of fashion statement. And once again, it's coming from individuals that are trying to train you to use different macros in order to get your energy. And what happens is you depress and displease your mitochondria, and so in order to keep your pump burning, in order to keep your fire burning, because remember I said fat is slow burning fuel, so in order to keep your fire burning, you have to go on these long fasts in order to lose weight, okay? When you should not have to do that. That does not make sense. That is not what fasting is for. Fasting is not a tool for weight loss. Let me just repeat this. I said this in one of my shorts. Isolated nutrients is not a tool for weight loss. Sugar is not a tool for weight loss. Protein isolates are not a tool for weight loss. Oil is not a tool. Oil, butter, those are not tools for weight loss. Neither is fasting. When you start to use these things as tool for weight loss, what you are introducing into your life and into your mind is disordered eating, okay? I want you guys to flip those 2 words around and tell me what you get. I don't want to trigger YouTube, okay? I'm not popular enough yet. You are introducing disordered eating into your psyche. It is not necessary. Learn to eat real foods. Learn to source your energy from the macro that your body actually wants. Learn how to turn your metabolism back on. Learn how to satisfy your mitochondria. That is what's going to help you. All right, so just to recap, the biggest secret that I have for you guys in order to help you to lose weight and get skinny on carbs is to time your nutrients properly. Eat during the day when the sun is up. Quit eating at nights, okay? I hope you guys found something useful in this video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with somebody that needs to hear this, okay? Because we do not want to promote disordered eating. All right, bye you guys.